What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's Leroy with Happy Trailers, and today I've got a kind of fun little comparison video for you guys. We're going to be looking at two different Diamond C trailers. As you can see behind me, I've got a Stepdeck and then a SDX Gooseneck flatbed. So we're going to look at some differences between these two trailers. We're going to try to decide which one is better, which one works best for your application, and just pick them apart. Let's check it out. So these are two hotshot kings right here. We are looking at a F-Max 216 right here. This is a beefy boy from Diamond C trailers with the 16K axles, 40,000 pound GVWR. And beside it here, we've got the SDX, the Stepdeck version of the hotshot industry. Definitely two very big, very powerful trailers right here. And obviously there's a lot of differences between the two. Not very many guys you see that run the Stepdecks. You see a lot more of these Goosenecks on the road. We're gonna see if we can figure out why. Now these are both pretty loaded out trailers, but there's definitely some different options on each trailer here too. We're gonna go over this, see what's what. For starters, you're gonna see some very different links here. This is the F-Max 216 with the hydraulic dovetail in the back. This is a 40-foot long trailer. In the hotshot industry, more common than not, you're gonna see a 40-foot long trailer. So that's very common right here. With the Stepdeck, this is a 53-footer. This is basically a semi-trailer, but you can haul it with a pickup if you got a big enough truck anyway. So 53 foot, that means you've got 10 foot up top and then 43 foot from here all the way to the back. So even not including your deck space right up here, you still have more space right here than you would on the F-Max. Let's look at differences with what we've got here in the front. The F-Max 216, like I say, 40,000 pound rated trailer. So your coupler is a 40,000 pound rated coupler as well. This is the Bulldog BX1. This needs a 3-inch ball, not your standard 2 5/16 ball for the Gooseneck. So you've got to have a capable truck in order to pull this thing as well. Got a solar panel up here. This thing does have some hydraulic options. So we've got batteries and solar up here is needed for that. So up here, got some space in the tray, up in between the neck and the risers. Toolbox. See some hydraulic lines in here as well, but still lots of space. And you've got the integrated chain tray right here in the front of the toolbox. So lots of storage space here and still clean. You got this little doohickey right here, and that is for your spare tire. If you notice there's no spare tire up here, that's because the spare tire is undermounted. So it's going to be found right there, and you can let it down right there. So operates pretty much the same way as a truck does. As you can see here as well, it's got the hydraulic jacks. Super handy, just push button. You don't have to do any cranking to get it up and off your truck. You've also got some loading lights right here. They swivel all over the place. They're super nice to have. All right, coming around to the Stepdeck, the SDX. This is something that you just don't get to see very often, so let's check it out. Once again, this is also a 216, so it's a 40,000 pound rated trailer, and that means that it's also going to have 3-inch ball here on the coupler. This is also interchangeable. A lot of people with the Stepdecks will run it on a 5th wheel setup, so this is interchangeable for a kingpin. Let's check out a little bit more underneath the trailer here. Main frame in the neck. You do have a little chain tray under here as well. There's no lock lid or anything, so that's a little bit different than the F-Max. And you got some ramps under here too. I'll pull them out here in a bit and show you how those work. But all in all, pretty standard. This one has the crank jacks. These are 25,000 pound Jost jacks, 2-speed. So they are beefy jacks as well, but you do have to crank them as opposed to pushing a button over here on the F-Max. Look at the size of the safety chains on these two. Most Goosenecks you're gonna see a 3/8 safety chain. This is a 1/2 inch. I mean, just look at that. Everything is bigger, beefier on these trailers. Looking at some of the added features on the Stepdeck trailer, you've got the sliding ratchet track, and then you've also got it here on the top deck. So that's 3 extra straps that are able to slide here up top, and then the straps here along the side as well. Of course, it's still gonna look very similar here on the deck. You've got the rub rail on the sides with the pipe spools and the stake pockets, the slide track everywhere, tons of straps. Here you've got a dunnage rack, 8 foot long, room for plenty of wood right there. And as I mentioned, 16K axles, so we've got the heavy 17.5-inch wheels and tires, 18-ply tires, heavy-duty hutch suspension. You can see the spread axle on this one as well. This is a 60-inch spread axle, lots of space in between. That's some heavy suspension right there. Let's take a look underneath it too. You've got 3-inch I-beam cross members. These are on 12-inch centers. There are cross members all over the place on this trailer. And coming towards the back, you've got the flip-over max ramps. These are usable deck space, as you can see when they are flipped over. They've got tons of springs, so they are very easy to operate, bring it up and down. Just like that. Look at the size of those springs. Sorry, it's dusty. It's hard to keep the dust away. But here you can see the bumper a little bit in the back. No exposed wiring. The tubing bumper is super nice to have. Outer frame on the trailer. It's gonna be a channel. Look how big it is too. 6-inch channel outer frame. Let's pick this ramp back up. Just like that. All right, coming back here to the F-Max 216. You're gonna see very similar options here. You got the same 6-inch channel outer frame. Let me confirm for you. There we are, 6-inch channel. You've got the slide track here along the side. It's got the rub rail, it's got the stake pockets, it's got the pipe spools. All very similar options. It's got the pull-out step. Coming around here to the axles, you've got the same 17.5-inch wheels and tires. Axle-wise, these are set up the same. Aside from here, you're gonna see some airbags. This is on the Cush air suspension. This is such a sweet suspension setup. The box is on the other side. I'll show you here in just a bit, but this is next level suspension for sure. Towards the back here, instead of the max ramps that this SDX has, this one's got the full hydraulic dovetail. This is a 12-foot long hydraulic dovetail. Breakover right here, basically on top of that rear axle, and it makes for an awesome load angle. I'll bring it down here in a bit and show you. You've got the slide track that comes along here down the tail as well. So you've got tie down options. This one has the blackwood on the outer edge, just for added traction when you're loading up anything. And also the traction bars here on the steel plates. This bumper right here is spring assisted, so it just tucks up underneath the trailer as that tail comes down. But still, once again, you don't see any wiring back here, so it's nice and cleaned up. And another thing to mention on both the the F-Max and the Stepdeck, you see these yellow lights right here. It's got caution flashing lights. There's 2 on each trailer. So with the flip of a switch, you can have these little flashers going for any kind of oversized load, DOT regulated stuff. Super nice to have. All right, coming around here on the driver's side, on the F-Max, this is where all the fun happens. Boom. This toolbox is chock full of all the fun stuff. Here is your Cush air ride setup. Fancy. It's even got an air chuck. So many nice things you can do with an air ride setup right there. And then here you've got your hydraulics. This pump will work for both the hydraulic dovetail and the hydraulic jacks on this trailer. And on top of that, it's got a really nice wireless remote. So these buttons work for the hydraulic dovetail, and then the smaller buttons work for the jacks. And then right here towards the front, you got one added toolbox. So the storage space on this trailer is quite a bit. Here in the top riser of the F-Max, you've got once again more chain space, storage space, and then the holes here, and this little blank that's right here, it's also ready for a winch. So it's an integrated winch plate that can be used as storage if you don't have a winch up in here. So very nice to have. Hopping over to the Stepdeck. Of course, there's not any space right here for a winch, but you have more stuff going on right here. Remember the ramps we saw underneath there earlier? This is where they pull out. Let me get one out for you. Here it is. These are 8-foot long ramps. Let me get that for you. 8 foot long. These ramps work great if you're doing multiple vehicles or pieces of equipment, whatever. You can load up and just leave your rear wheels right here on these ramps and strap down. So there's some really cool features you can have here with this Stepdeck that the F-Max just simply can't do. Okay, let's check out all the driver's side stuff here on the Stepdeck as well. You got another empty toolbox. Once again, your spare tire is underneath the trailer here. And that's how you get it down. And another empty toolbox, lots of storage space. And remember, it had the wood rack right here on the other side. And then this little box has got your hydraulic unit for the electric over hydraulic brakes. Let's look at some fun stuff here. We're looking at the F-Max 216. Check out the Pacesetter edition, guys. They're definitely cool with Diamond C. A lot of added features that just make for a good bang for your buck. Anyway, so you're looking right here at a 40,000 pound GVWR, right? And this trailer comes in empty at 10,530 pounds. So she's a heavy trailer, but with 40,000 pound GVWR, that still gives you a payload of 29,470 pounds on the F-Max. So coming around here to the VIN sticker on the SDX, the Stepdeck. Once again, you're looking here, GVWR is 40,000 pounds. So it's got the same GVWR as the F-Max 216. And here you can see an empty weight. And of course, this thing is 53 foot long instead of 40 foot. The empty weight here, 11,610 pounds. So she weighs in a little bit heavier than the F-Max. That gives you a payload on the Stepdeck of 28,390 pounds. Don't get me wrong, that's still a lot of payload on both of these trailers. Okay, as a 2024 model, this 53 foot Stepdeck with the 16,000 pound axles, this one's priced in at 46,399. Let's compare that to the F-Max 216. This is a shorter trailer, being 40 foot long, but it's got the hydraulics, it's got the air ride, everything else. This one rings in at $54,699. We're looking at quite a big price difference between the Stepdeck and the F-Max. Granted, you can definitely get an F-Max here that doesn't have all these options. It's gonna be priced very similar to the Stepdeck. I just wanted to show some different options. This is a big price difference, and here you get more trailer space. Which one's better? Hey, that depends on what you're doing, what you're making your money doing, what you're hauling. There's definitely so many different types of freight out there. This one might be perfect for you, and it might be not at all what you need. This one might be perfect for you, and it might be not at all what you need. That's the great thing about options. Let me know what you think. Appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you for the next one.